Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be answering your assumptions about me and assumptions about my life. I asked on Instagram, I did a little question box, basically just to input some assumptions about what's going on with everything. So, y'all got really juicy. I'm not gonna lie, you did. Hey, the first assumption is you and Megan lost interest in music because of the industry at one point. This is absolutely true. I mean, if you've been following us for any amount of time, you know that we have been absolutely burned by the music industry over and over again. I mean, I feel like every time we release music, almost, there's always something that happens in the industry that just feels really unfair, and that's just the way it is. When you're a creative and you trust people and you have expectations, it just sometimes, most of the time, doesn't work out because, I don't know, Megan and I think are too trusting and we're too optimistic sometimes. So yeah, there was a long time where we were like, we never want to do this ever again. We just keep coming back for more. You are clean and Weston is messy. I would say Weston and I are about the same level. We both put a lot of effort into keeping our home clean because we know that, like, we share this home. We want to make it a nice place to live. I guarantee you there are some things that he doesn't like that I do. Like, I can think of one right now that he doesn't say it, but I know that he thinks it. That is when I leave the hair in his hairbrush, but like he just has the best hairbrush. So I know he gets mad at that, but he won't ever tell me that. Naturally, I am very messy. I just I don't mind the clutter. I don't mind clothing everywhere. It just doesn't really bother me, but I do make an effort because I do share a home now. I am married. This one I actually got a couple times, and it was, you wish you went to college, but you never did. This is yes and no. I definitely feel like I regret the friendship aspect of college and just kind of having that really fun, carefree, like, partying phase. I mean, when we were touring, when, you know, everything was kind of happening with our music, we were at that college age. And we never got the opportunity to just be wild and kind of like do what you always see on the movies, which, again, I don't know how real that is because I didn't go to college. But I definitely feel like I regret that part. Just thinking of all the friends I could have made and kind of the experiences that I would have had. But at the same time, the experiences that I was experiencing at the time when everyone else was in college were once in a lifetime experiences, and I wouldn't trade those for anything. As far as the education portion of it, I wanted to study broadcast journalism. That's something that I remember when I was thinking about going to college, that's what I would have done. And I'm basically doing that, a version of that now, which is fun. So I don't totally miss the education part. The next one is you get lonely because Weston travels for work. This is true. This is true. I feel like the pandemic has really made a lot of people feel lonely. And for me personally, the pandemic happened right when my husband did get this new job. Hi. Here we go. It happened right when Weston did get this new job where he was traveling. So I was alone, you know, during like the main stretch of when nothing was open, when, you know, it was just, you could barely like go outside to take a walk. And that was really hard for me. And it still is something that's really hard for me, having to make my own schedule. And I'm lucky to do what I do, but there is no routine. There is no deadline. There is no whatever. So that was tough to manage, and I feel like I'm getting better, but I do feel lonely. I do. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that because I love him. I miss him. You know, Megan has moved to Memphis, and like I miss her all the time. I miss my mom. I miss just like meeting up with random people just for fun. But I feel like everybody thinks that in the pandemic, so. I love being vegan. Well, I got a couple of questions asking about my vegan vegetarianism. I am not vegan anymore. I was vegan for about 3 years, like 3 solid years where I was very strict. And to be quite honest, I've talked about this before, but that was just another form of restriction for me. It was, you know, never a choice other than I wanted to do it, and it gave me a lot of control over what I was consuming. So, and that honestly had a lot to do with my eating disorder. But yeah, I think that being vegan is not something that is good for me right now. And I think that that's fair. You know, I am trying to recover in the healthiest way that I can, and restricting that much just wasn't healthy for my mental health. It wasn't healthy for my physical health. I am still vegetarian. And I eat fish, so I'm pescatarian. That I probably won't change just because I've been that way since I was 14. So, but yeah, I am not a vegan anymore, and as of right now, no plans to go back. You only shop at Trader Joe's. It's funny, it may seem like that, but I don't. I love Trader Joe's in general because the prices are amazing, the selection's always great, the experience is always wonderful, and I hate the Kroger by my house. And I know that, like, I'm lucky to have access to so many grocery stores. Trust me, I live in a city. I'm very, very thankful for that. But the Kroger that is, like, right next to my house is just not it. Like, the produce is never good. They're always out of everything that I need. Truly, always everything that I need they're out of. I do love Kroger in general. Like, there are other Krogers in the greater Nashville area that I love and I will go out of my way to go to. So I love Kroger, I love Publix, I love Trader Joe's, but that's funny. This next one is, you started dyeing your hair to look less like your sister, but now you can't break the habit. That is true. Back in like 2011 or 2012, our label at the time suggested that one of us dye our hair because we looked really similar at the time. And they were like, you know, does one of you want to like dye your hair blonde or something? And I was like, yeah, I'll dye my hair blonde. Because I mean, I was just like, sure, whatever. And my hair was kind of just like a lighter color anyways. And now I love it and I will never go back. But definitely that was a pushed choice. I probably would have never gone this blonde on my own without like our label suggesting it. You and Weston never fight. That is wrong. We definitely fight. I mean, do I think that we have a healthy relationship and a healthy marriage? Absolutely, I do. We are constantly asking each other, what can I do for you today? How can I help you? You know, is there anything that you need? How do you feel supported, etc., etc.? But I mean, we fight. We are normal human beings, and there are some things that just, you know, whether it's big issues or small little issues, like sometimes we'll have to have a conversation where it's like, this is how I feel. I don't like the way you handled this, you know, like how can we do better next time? So we definitely fight. We are normal people. Music isn't your number one priority anymore. This is a tough question. Music is tough because it is so expensive, to be quite honest. I'm so sorry if you hear Captain like chewing on this toy down here, but it just is what it is. But yeah, music is expensive. And it doesn't make, if we're just talking purely like in our business financially, music does not make the same kind of money that like a brand deal would make. So it's tough to prioritize something that, you know, you have to actively spend money on. And that's just that's the price you pay with being an independent artist. And it will always be something that we do and something that we love and something I feel like I always come back to, but it's definitely not, you know, like we're not trying to do like we did back in like 2012 where it was like, you know, we're going to all these radio stations and we're trying to push it to radio and we're trying to like create 3 albums, you know what I mean, and tour like all year long. Like that's definitely not something that we're doing anymore. So yes and no. I feel like it's not the main priority, but it doesn't make it any less important to me or less important as like part of the brand and part of what I am and who I am. Thought about quitting YouTube. Yeah. I mean, I've thought about quitting everything, if we're being quite honest. I've thought about just like deleting my Instagram, deleting, YouTube, and just... Okay, yeah. So I've thought about deleting everything. Simply for the fact that I feel like I'm getting older, and there are parts of my life that I'm like, do I really want to share this? Like, is this something that I want to be public? And there's just a lot, we've been doing this for so long that sometimes it just feels like I would love to just be anonymous. And I just keep coming back to, this is what I love. I feel like I find a lot of creative, joy in what I do now, and I don't think I'm gonna quit that. The grass is always greener. It's just something that, I've been doing this since I was 16. So of course I'm gonna wonder, of course I'm gonna think about, what if I just quit it all? What if I completely change my life? But at the end of the day, I am very happy and very thankful, and I love this life, and I love sharing the majority of things with the people who watch, so thank you for that. But yeah, I always wanted to get married young. Honestly, I was open to getting married whenever the right person came along. My mom got married later in life, so I saw that as an example, and I was like, oh, okay, like, you don't have to be married by 23, you can get married later if you want. But for me, I just happened to meet the right person, and I actually got married when I was 25. So I don't know, I feel like it was just the right person and the right time and the right situation, and that's really what I was waiting for, more so than like a certain age. You always wear makeup at home. When you post something from home, you're always wearing makeup. I would say I have like 3 days a week where I just don't wear any makeup. I feel like sometimes it goes back to setting a routine for myself. I feel like getting ready makes me feel more productive. It makes me feel more together. And so that's why I have makeup on. And I just love makeup. Like, I love doing makeup. I love trying new products. So I do wear makeup probably more so than you'd think, I guess. But I just love makeup and I love wearing it. But there are absolutely days where I wear absolutely none. I have no problem going out in public without makeup. That used to be a thing when I was younger. I used to never, go out in public with no makeup. I would sleep in it at sleepovers and stuff, but now I am way past that. You were an honor student in high school. Our school didn't really have like honors classes or anything like that. So yes, but no. My GPA was like a 3.6, I think, at the very end of high school. And again, we didn't have any sort of honors classes or anything. So the absolute highest that you could get at my school was a 4.0. And I graduated with a 3.6. And I worked so hard. I worked so hard in high school, you guys. I have a learning disability. I have dyslexia, and I got diagnosed with that when I was like in the 4th grade. And for me especially, it was really hard to read, to learn to read when I was growing up. And then also for me, numbers have always been a really hard thing for me. So like I switch times a lot. I switch, like when I'm doing accounting stuff, like I'll switch the numbers a lot. Like I can't remember numbers well. So math was always really hard for me, like math and chemistry and stuff like that. So yeah, and I worked really hard to fight for that, like, grade point average, because it was not easy. And looking back, I probably could have taken advantage of the things that, like, where you have extra time on tests and whatever, because I did have a learning disability. I don't know, I guess back then I was just so scared of like people seeing me as like less than. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I just have to like fight harder and study more. I remember I would take a test. I remember like a chemistry test. I started the test, didn't know what I was doing because it was just one of those subjects that was really hard for me. And I literally was like heaving, sobbing, just sitting in my seat, heaving, sobbing at the end of the class as the bell rang and people were walking out. And as I was walking to my next class, just like crying, and my teacher in the next class just told me, he was like, you know, Liz, like, you're a smart girl. High school isn't everything. Your high school grades aren't everything. And one day this won't matter. And, you know, like, you should relax a little bit because you're doing fine. And, like, you know, you shouldn't beat yourself up over, like, not knowing everything on the chemistry test. And that honestly really stuck with me. And even looking back now, I never even needed my high school transcript for anything in my life. So I really stressed myself out for no reason. Story short, I was kind of an honor student, I guess. You felt insecure around Megan growing up. This is true, especially if we're talking the early YouTube days. If you remember, maybe you don't, or maybe this is just like my own personal trauma. Majority of the comments when we were in high school and when the videos were like really on, you know, the homepage of YouTube and kind of starting off everything, majority of the comments were, why is the one on the left even there? You know, the one on the left isn't pretty. You know, Megan should go solo. Why is Megan even associating with her? You know, there's a lot of that conversation, and being 16, 17, and being called the ugly one, being called the talentless one, being questioned, why is she there? She's ruining the song. She's not talented. She's not as talented as, you know, Megan. Yeah, of course I was insecure. And it wasn't even necessarily around Megan specifically. It's just, we grew up in a time where we did choose to put ourselves on the internet to complete strangers, and the way I wasn't ready for that, it made me insecure overall. Oh, yeah, I was insecure when we would do videos because I knew that those comments were coming. I always wanted to be better, you know, and I wanted to be prettier and whatever, and eventually those comments did stop. Eventually, I do feel like we evened out in the way of, like, people like Megan for reasons because she's Megan, and people like me because I'm me. And the hate kind of just, like, rolls off my back now. I'm like, I honestly don't care. But back then in high school, yeah, that stung. Stung pretty bad. This one, you grew up privileged. So I'm not sure directly what this person meant when they mean by privileged. Did I grow up in a household where I was encouraged to do whatever I wanted, live my dreams, and work hard for them? Absolutely. I'm talking about privilege in just the way of, like, a loving, kind, you know, supportive household where I felt like I could do anything I wanted, then absolutely I was privileged. Absolutely. If we're talking purely financial, honestly, no. And I'm not going to go too much into that, but I mean, the answer is no. Plain and simple, the answer is no. Well, I hope I answered some of your assumptions. Y'all got really deep with me, so thank you for that. Super fun. If you have any comments about anything, I would love your opinion. I would love just kind of anything that you have to say about what I said. I would love to hear your thoughts. I would love to hear what you think. Appreciate you guys, as always, for submitting these, for participating in this video, and I hope you liked it. And yeah, we will see you soon for another video. And if you have any other video ideas that you want to see, leave a comment below because I would love to see some ideas. Yeah, hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you later.